everyone, this is DW's Darius, and today I want to take all the livestock from out of here and put it in here. Okay everyone, so today I want to go ahead and take all the inhabitants that are living inside this 90-gallon above ground pond. In this pond I have a bunch of native fish. I also have a couple of different plants, and I want to go ahead and bring it indoors. That's just because winter is coming. Now of course these native fish, they can handle winters here in New Jersey because I did collect them from nearby lakes and rivers, so of course they can handle it. However, this pond being above ground, it freezes completely every year, and if it freezes completely with these fish, all the fish will die and some of the plants may die as well. So I'm just going to go ahead now because I have the time. I'm going to catch them and put them in the basement, and I'm also finally going to get me my native aquarium. So today we're going to go ahead, we're going to escape a 75, we're going to put some fish in it, and we're just going to have a good day. Okay, so I realized that, as always, when it comes to catching these fish, one of the best times to do it is at night. And I want to give you guys a quick example of why. Well, you know why. It's because the fish are asleep. So let me come with a flashlight and let me give you guys an example. I'm not sure how well you can see it on camera, but you can kind of see them. And I definitely have an advantage at night. So I'm just going to go ahead and try to catch as many as I can. Well, I'm going to try to catch all of them now. And I have my bucket right here, so let's just get to it. Okay everyone, so the tank has been running now for a couple of days, and today I want to give you guys a quick overview of everything that's going on. So firstly, when it comes to the design of the tank, I'm very well pleased with the way it came out. My goal initially was to make it as natural as possible. All the rocks and driftwood were sourced from nearby lakes and reservoirs. Even the gravel itself came from a nearby lake, so I tried to make it as natural as possible. This plant, Inocorus, is found commonly in the lakes and streams around New Jersey, so everything in this aquarium can be found locally. Now, when it comes to the overall design, I'm very well pleased. As I said, I love the way this driftwood sits across the bottom. I think it just fits perfectly. The fish love it. It's hollow all the way through, and I'm glad that so far no fish has claimed it for their own territory. And because of that, all the fish are able to swim through it whenever they please, and it's just a very nice feature in this tank. Along with that, I also love the way the background driftwood came out as well. It has a nice curve to it. It starts in the back of the tank, it comes to the front of the tank, but it also has some hollow parts. And just overall, it looks very natural, and I'm glad to see that the fish enjoy it. The fish are always swimming around it, swimming within it. They love the shade that it provides, and I just love the fact that it looks so natural. Along with that, I have a few stones around. All of these are river rock, and I think that they fit well. The only thing I would do different is maybe in this left portion of the tank add a few larger stones back there. But beside that, I love just the overall design of this aquarium. Now when it comes to fish, I only have 3 different species of fish in this tank, and I plan to leave it like that, if not take one of the species out. And the reason why is because this tank is only 75 gallons. Yes, there are a lot of different North American fish that will look awesome in this tank. However, the fish that I currently keep, they do get big. And just like every other aquarium that I have, I want to balance it right. I want to make sure that I'm not overstocking it. And that's the best way, in my opinion, to keep a healthy environment and just to get the best amount of color from your fish and just the overall best behavior. So I'm going to be leaving it with a limited number of species. I'm not sure if I'm going to keep all the ones that I have today. Maybe if I go fishing and find a different species that's better, but at the end of the day, I don't want to crowd this 75-gallon aquarium. So the species that I do have include some pumpkin seed sunfish. The big guy right there in the back, he's the biggest, about 4 inches, and he's a pumpkin seed. Over here in the corner, I have a pumpkin seed sunfish, and then I have the third and final pumpkin seed right here. Now initially, when these guys were in the pond, I thought that they were all pumpkin seed, and that's because the day that I caught them, I found just a bunch of adult pumpkin seeds all across that same lake. I actually have a video of a breeding pair of pumpkin seeds from the same lake, about maybe 3 or 4 feet from where I caught all these guys, so that made me assume that all of them were pumpkin seeds. However, it turns out that I only have 3 pumpkin seeds. The rest of the panfish are bluegills, so you can see this black guy right here. And I have about 5 more of these black guys, and they are all bluegills. Now the bluegills, they won't show as much color, but I definitely love their stripes. Now they are a little bit timid. I'm going to slowly try to creep closer to the tank. Of course they're going to be timid. These guys were never in a glass box before. This is their first time, so I'm not blaming them for being timid. But these black guys, they're bluegills. Now so far I'm noticing that the pumpkin seeds are a little bit more aggressive compared to the bluegills. All of my bluegills are low ranking compared to the pumpkin seeds. Even if the pumpkin seed is smaller, it still is more higher ranking compared to these bluegills. But I've kept bluegills before, and I know that they can be aggressive, so I'm guessing that this is just because they are juveniles. Another interesting thing is that if you look at the smaller bluegill, this is the size of all the fish that I caught when I first caught them a couple of months ago. Now compare him to the fish that is behind him. And remember, all these fish I bought them at the same, I caught them at the same size. So it's just interesting to see the different growth rates, and to see how I have so many, 3 of them this tiny. I have the average size is like that, and then I have this jumbo one right here. So it's just cool and interesting to see the different size rates and just the different sizes, even though I caught them at the same size. And finally, you saw me add my black line dace. These were going to be the community fish of the tank. However, these guys are very sensitive, and most of them died, and I'm only left with 2 of them. And I'm thinking about taking these guys back to the wild, because I only have 2, so it's like these fish are schooling fish, so they need to be in the school. If they're not in school, you're not going to get a lot of behavior, and they're just going to be miserable. I learned that from all my schooling fish. It's pretty much the same deal with these. So you probably can't see them, but they're under that driftwood over there, and I'm only left with 2. The rest of them died. Once again, they are some very just fragile fish, so that's the reason why they are lacking. And I don't think I'm going to be replacing the ones that died. Instead, I'm probably just going to be removing these, and eventually that's going to leave me with just the bluegills and the pumpkin seed. And as these guys grow, you know, bluegills can get pretty big. The same thing with these pumpkin seeds. I may end up leaving myself with a breeding pair of pumpkin seeds. It do look like I have a male and female, but this, of course, is my first time keeping these native fish in aquariums, so I'm not really confident. But based on comparing them to some of my cichlids, I do think I may get a pair of bluegills, and if not bluegills, of pumpkin seeds. And if that is the case, I may just turn this into a breeding aquarium. Now when it comes to feeding these fish, I found that it was no difficulty at all feeding these guys prepared foods. I think it's because when I first caught them, they were all juveniles, and it's a little bit easier to train juvenile fish to eat compared to adult fish. And at the same time, because I have so many, these fish are competitive one with another, and I think that that's what helped them eat my prepared foods a lot easier. So when it comes to foods, I feed them Hikari Sinking Cichlid Gold. I also feed New Life Spectrum cichlid formula, and a few flakes for my School and Black-Nosed Dace. And the reason why I feed them that is because these panfish are obviously omnivores. When I first added them to the tank, they were going crazy trying to eat all my snails. And if I toss a cucumber in there, they'll eat the cucumber. So they pretty much eat anything you offer to them. So I feed them the same diet as my, look at that guy color, he's looking awesome. But I feed them the same stuff as my cichlids. And these guys right here, when I saw them in the wild, they were actually grazing on algae. These guys at the bottom, these dace. So I pretty much figured that an algae wafer every now and then would be nice for them, along with some flakes. But yeah, that's what I feed these guys. No difficulty when it comes to feeding them. Now from watching these fish in this aquarium for a couple of days, I don't know how people don't classify these fish as cichlids. Panfish, in my opinion, are just like American cichlids. They breed the same, they eat a lot of the similar diets, they even behave the same. And in my opinion, these fish are worthy to be called cichlids. It's because of the other cichlids that I keep why I'm able to understand how these guys work and just how they function. So these guys, just like cichlids, will build a hierarchy in an aquarium. The largest fish usually being the most dominant. This guy right here, for example, my pumpkin seed, he's the most dominant. And just like with cichlids, they're going to be aggressive more towards their own species. So this guy is very hard on my other two pumpkin seed sunfish. Now because of that, I was thinking that because he's has such a size advantage, maybe I could take him out, put him in a pond, and let the other guys just settle out the hierarchy on a little bit more of a balanced scale. That way they all be on the same size, especially since that the big guy isn't really showing as much color as some of these smaller guys. So that's pretty much the deal with these panfish. They are working in a hierarchy. I noticed the same thing with my bluegills. My biggest bluegill chased the smaller bluegills around. Now one of the good things that I really don't see too much aggression when it comes to bluegill versus pumpkin seed. They really pretty much stick to their own species for aggression, so that's one of the good things. But with the hierarchy, I do want to take out some of these bigger guys so that it could just be a little bit more of an even and balanced playing field. And I think because of that, I will get a little bit better balance when it comes to just overall aggression and just color and everything like that. But yeah, that was just a quick overview of this aquarium, just so you guys can know what to expect. Eventually, I'm pretty sure that these plants are going to grow nicely over time. And I'm just going to let this thing bush out. I want a nice bushy effect over there. I like a little open gap right here and then more bushiness over there. And I just want it to be as natural feeling as possible. Eventually, as these fish get older, as they grow, I will be taking a few out. Because once again, this is a 75 and I don't want to overstock it. And the goal is just to show the beauty of some of these American fish. In a while, if you go scuba diving or free diving or whatever, they look awesome in the wild, but a lot of times when you bring them into fish tanks, they don't really look too great. And I want to be the one who just are able to show the true beauty of these fish, and by doing that, or the way of doing that, is by just providing the best setup. So yeah, eventually I want to start taking them out as they get big, and at the end of the day, I want to be left with some pumpkin seeds because in my opinion they look the best, and just have a nice display native tank. But yeah everyone, that's been a quick look at my 75-gallon native aquarium. As always, if you have any questions or comments about what you saw today, let me know in the comment section below. If you like this video, make sure you hit that thumbs up. And for more updates on this tank and on all the other aquariums in the fish room, make sure you subscribe because as you already know, more is coming. Catch you guys on the next one.